In today's episode, I will be going through a list of 10-ish individuals who I think we could give the mantle of being the goodest people. Is that a word? The goodest people in the wasteland. If you think I'm missing the boat on somebody, let me know. Like, tweet at me, join the Discord, join the conversation. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Here, let's start with Fallout 76.
Fallout 76.
Oh, good. Buddy Butts. Hey, welcome, Buddy Bot. Buddy Bot's here to do the announcements for each game. All right, so let's talk about Fallout 76. The first character I want to point out from Fallout 76 is a character that, if you play through the quests and the storylines, and you've played since Wastelanders, you have the opportunity to actually meet. And that is Fallout 76's Overseer. This is a character who, in some ways, is a little tragic. She spent her time in the vault trying to prepare everybody for the wasteland, and in some ways didn't realize how difficult that task would be. She ends up sacrificing a relationship with the man that she was potentially going to marry, and then also kind of has her dreams kind of crushed on, kind of stepped on, crushed and stepped on at the same time, becomes crushed on, when she realized that the Societal Preservation Program, the Vault program, and the people overseeing everything weren't really telling her the full truth about the situation. And so when the Vault doors open up, she heads out into the wasteland, and she does her best to try to piece together what to do in the wasteland, and eventually ends up in her house where you end up meeting her, and then she helps you along as the character. She's still driven by good intentions, but she's also a little bit daunted by the mistakes of her past. So kind of a tragic character, but a good spirit. She believes in doing what is right and trying to help the world continue to be a better place. So I'm going to put her first on the list of, and this isn't in any specific order. You guys can debate which of these characters is goodest. Is that a word? So I'm going to start with the Overseer. Fallout 76's Overseer. The other character, and this one I had a difficult time. The other group I would include from Fallout 76 are the responders, and actually picking an individual member is difficult because by the time we get to know the responders in Fallout 76, the original group is gone. They have been destroyed. They held out against overwhelming odds. The Scorched, the super mutants, the other difficulties, the other terrible people in the wasteland. They held out as long as they possibly could. And they fought the good fight. They sacrificed themselves for the rest of the wasteland. They were trying to find a cure for the Scorch Plague, and they got really close. And I can't really call out any one member particularly. Maybe somebody like Maria Chavez, Dr. Claire Hudson would be candidates for this. Again, let me know if you think there's anybody we should definitely call out. There are new responders. There are a bunch of robots out there, but then there are new responders that we run across in the more recent updates. So like Wastelanders gave us Heather Ellis and Tiffany Brantley, who we come across. And then in the Pit DLC, now we have an entire group of responders that are working together at White Springs. And characters like Esme Rousseau and Giuseppe Del Ripa. That's an awesome freaking name. I wish I had a cool name like that. I'm just Tom. But I'm going to just put them as a whole. The responders as a whole, with some individuals, definitely stand out. So that's our Fallout 76 candidates. We're going to move on to Fallout 4.
Fallout 4.
Thank you, Buddy Bot. All right, let's talk about Fallout 4. Fallout 4 actually has a number of individuals who I think would be worth pointing out or choosing or discussing. There's a lot of people who do good things or are driven towards good goals. And I'm using the word good, like not necessarily just positive, but good, beneficial to others. But the first character I'm going to point out is Piper Wright. And I don't know about you guys. Piper, she's driven. She's almost driven to the point of being annoying. But I think that's kind of her thing, is that she's not going to let that get in the way of what she wants to do. She wants to find out the truth about what's going on. And this is a notable thing about people who, I think, and this is my perspective on this, so feel free to disagree, but I think people who are trying to do good, that often lines up, or should line up, with the discovery and commitment to the truth of a situation. I would argue that doing good, but doing it in a nefarious way or an ignorant way to the actual truth of a situation is, in the long run, going to defeat your efforts. So people who purposely misconstrue their evidence for something in order to get the thing they want, eventually that's going to come back around, and it works against you. And I know I'm talking in very broad terms here. Piper is a character who, at the very beginning, when you meet her, when you first walk into Diamond City, you can tell that she's somebody who's very driven. She's trying to get to the truth of the situation, and she's not going to let other things get in the way, to the point where she's willing to join you as a companion, go out on these adventures, brave the wasteland and the terrible, scary things that are out there. And she's not afraid to get in somebody's face and confront them about what's actually going on. And I think that bravery is another one of those characteristics for somebody who's truly good. You have to put yourself out there and potentially put yourself in danger in order to achieve that which is good, because there will always be those who are against you. Somebody who's telling the truth is very threatening to anybody who's trying to lie to you. Anybody who's trying to pull the wool over your eyes. That's a phrase, right? So truth tellers and seekers of truth are, by their very nature, endangering themselves to those who are less ethical. There's also the funny little note here about Piper having previously joined the Church of the Children of Adam. And here's her own words in this. She says during a conversation, "Thank God I've been working on this story about irradiated drinking water in Bunker Hill. I traced the water back to its source, though, through these old sewer tunnels. And what did I find? The Children of Adam, setting up like they owned the place. Unfortunately, they found me just as quick. It turns out they were not fond of reporters, so to atone for my trespassing, they decided to make a sacrifice to Adam, me. I'm kneeling there, about to get the boot into this huge sewer pipe. Then I suddenly blurt out, 'Adam, he reveals himself!' And they buy it. They pulled me back from the ledge and then gave me their induction ceremony. You were looking at an official acolyte of Adam. Took me a couple more days before I managed to sneak away, or get Bunker Hill security to finally clean that place up." So this whole, obviously she had to deceive them in order to get out alive. You're not going to blame anybody for that. But there's clearly this drive to go find the truth about things and put herself in danger in order to do so. And this situation in particular is kind of comical in a dark Fallout kind of way. So I appreciate that. All right, let's move on to the other character that I've decided to talk about for this section, Preston Garvey. And a lot of these characters have their own episodes, so if you haven't gone back and listened to those episodes, go back and you'll get more details about these people if you go back and listen to those episodes. But Preston is similar to Piper in a way, in that he's driven and motivated by this greater good. And he's part of the Minutemen, this organization whose inherent goal is to protect people from the dangers of the wasteland, to do things for others, to put themselves in harm's way in order to make sure that other people can survive. That is a noble cause. And when we meet Preston, he's kind of at the last, I don't know, he's ready to give up. That's probably the best way to put it. He's had his butt kicked. He's seen so many of his friends and the people that he's worked with not make it. And that takes a toll on you. And you're able to turn that around. You can work with him in order to reinstate the Minutemen and start helping out again in the Wasteland. There's another settlement that needs your help. And it's true, though. But he keeps going. Like, you can give him the will to continue. And so he does. And the fact that he sticks with it so long, even when the odds are against him, is a characteristic that is true about people who are genuinely seeking to do good. They don't give up. And even if they give up momentarily, they come back when they're ready to fight the good fight again. And that's noble. There's something truly good, with a capital G, about that. Life is not easy. The decisions that he makes are not easy, but yet he keeps on going. Next, we're going to talk about Fallout New Vegas.
Fallout New Vegas.
All right. Thank you, Buddy Bot. All right. So Fallout New Vegas, without bringing up the guy that you first meet at the very beginning part of the game, Doc Mitchell. Doc Mitchell he's kind of like a genius doctor, really nice guy. I don't know the best way to say this. I mean, you get 2 bullets in your head, right? And yet he's able to save your life, and he goes out of his way to do it. And then, heck, even after he puts you back together and you have the conversation with him where you get to choose, your stats and the way you look and all that stuff, he just lets you wander around his house and basically take anything. Like, what a dude. Like, who would do that? And I get it. It's video gamey. It gives you kind of the beginning of the game where you actually have some items and you can go out into the world and start doing things. I get that. But he's still a character who's been through some stuff. We go listen to the Doc Mitchell episode. Or was he part of an episode, or did he have his own episode? I don't even remember anymore. But go listen to that episode, and you'll find out that, like, he used to be involved with, he came from a vault. He used to be involved with some other people and other things going on. Now he's kind of retired, but yet he still goes out of your way to help somebody who doesn't even know, and then gives them enough stuff to get them started. What a dude. What a bro. What a good guy. Now, I wouldn't say that he's, other than being driven to do what's right as a medical professional, super, driven. Not in the ways that other characters are. The other character I'm going to point out from Fallout New Vegas is Arcade Gannon. Arcade Gannon, he's a member of the Followers of the Apocalypse. He's a potential companion. You can bring him around with you. But go back and listen to the Followers of the Apocalypse episode. They may be one of the few truly good organizations in the Wasteland. Trying to help out people in need, trying to do the right thing no matter what, finding medical help and creating it when possible. Arcade Gannon, also a doctor. He previously came from, his father was part of the Enclave, so he's got kind of this shady past a little bit, but when he's your companion, he's very, very staunchly against anything that's fascist, anything that's falsifying the truth for their own gain, any of that stuff. He's a character that's in a really interesting place. Kind of this, this cross section between his history and the future, his culture, his identity, and who he feels like he needs to be. He's one of only 2 homosexual characters, or at least openly homosexual characters, in New Vegas. And so that creates kind of a different dynamic for him, and understanding how he fits into the Wasteland and has to deal socially with other people. He's an interesting, diverse character, but through it all has good intentions. He's idealistic. And in the end, instead of serving Caesar, he takes his own life in order to not be a tool of evil in his own mind. He's a complex character, and I could see how people might have different perspectives on what's going on with him. And of course, certain things do play out depending on how you make decisions and how you work through the game. So Let me know what your thoughts are on Arcade Gannon. I think overall he attempts to do good in the world, and I think that should count for something. All right, let's move on to Fallout 3.
Fallout 3.
This is the last Fallout game we're going to talk about, but I have 3 candidates from Fallout 3. The first being Three Dog, because Three Dog, even though he's a fun radio host and, he's charismatic and kind of great voice acting and all of that, he is somebody who is standing up against evil. He tells us in his radio show to keep fighting the good fight, to stand up for what is right. He is a motivational speaker who is doing good in the world by projecting it and supporting those around him at a distance, even. There's a phrase, speaking truth to power. This idea that the more you repeat something, and maybe this doesn't exactly coincide with speaking truth to power, but it's connected. The more you repeat something, the more people believe it. So saying that we need to continue fighting the good fight is going to motivate more people to continue fighting the good fight, to fight against the super mutants and Raider gangs, but also slave parties, Talon Company, the Enclave. Three Dogs calling it like it is and fighting against misinformation. I mean, what kind of world do we live in now where misinformation is a big deal? Even in any military conflict, misinformation is a big deal. And yet he still fights the good fight. And he puts himself at risk because it's not like it's hard to figure out where this stuff is being broadcast from. You can do that fairly easily. And then he specifically calls out John Henry Eaton's Enclave Radio and how that is a tool of propaganda and misinformation. Man, this sounds prescient for today's world, right? And yet this game came out 15 years ago. Yeah, so I put Three Dog up on the list. The other character that I would mention, or I've got 2 more characters for Fallout 3, is Owen Lyons, being one of the only Brotherhood characters that I think I would put in this list because he manages the Brotherhood in a different kind of way than other leaders that we've talked about. All of the Brotherhood leaders have been driven by their ideals and what they believe to be the best case moving forward. And some of them are better at convincing themselves they're doing the right thing for selfish reasons than others. Owen Lyons takes the Brotherhood ideology and opens it up and makes it more inclusive. He is one of the few Brotherhood leaders who's willing to risk certain things in order to do something that is more morally generally good for more people. I think that we can phrase it that way. So I think that there's something there that needs to be celebrated. He also takes you in. If it wasn't for his decisions and the way that he's running his Brotherhood, then the events of Fallout 3 would not be able to play out the way they do. And that's particularly beneficial to the people of the Wasteland in Fallout 3. So he's up on the list as well. And then one other character that I would include from Fallout 3 is James, your dad. He's the MacGuffin that you have to go out into the wasteland to try to find for like the first half of the game. But there's a good reason why he's doing what he's doing. And he's one of those characters that until we understand what his motivation actually is, his decisions seem a little shady. Why does he leave you in the vault? Why does he go off on his own to do these things? What is he actually doing? Well, he's trying to bring clean water to the capital wastes. And that is a huge benefit. He's willing to sacrifice being able to be there with you in the vault in a safe place in order to go out into the wasteland and do something that's truly going to benefit everybody. And there's a goodness about that. He ultimately ends up sacrificing his life for this ideal. And I mean, anybody who's willing to sacrifice themselves for something bigger and better than themselves for other people is a character who I can't help but put on the good list. Now, that might mean there's other characters out there as well that just haven't ended up on this list. If there are, let me know what you think. But I can only make the list so long. So I'm putting James on the list as well. All right, now we're down to the bonus category, and there's a reason why these characters are in the bonus category.
Bonus category.
Wow, Buddy Bot, that one was extra special.
Yeah, I had to do it because it was the last one, so I gotta make it even better.
Okay, yeah, cool. So we've got 3 characters that I'm going to put in this bonus category, and the reason why I put them in the bonus category is that they aren't exactly the same as human people. And so this creates kind of a philosophical dilemma. Are they just programmed, either biologically or technologically? But here, let's get into it. There are 2 robots and 1 other character. So in Fallout 4, you come across Codsworth after leaving the vault, and he's been waiting around for a really long time. He's there for you, and he's really distraught and then excited that you show back up and you're still alive. But is that because of his programming? Is he just programmed because he's your robot? You opened up the package. You can see the package in the house where you start out. Is he just supposed to be there for you all the time, no matter what, because of his programming? Or does he choose to do that in the light of the situation that he's now in, with the bombs dropping and everything, going terrible? I don't know. It's tricky, but he is loyal. He's willing to do what is right. He also has a sense of morality. He's got a good sense of, he tells you when he doesn't think something's a good idea. So I think that counts. The next character I would put in this category is Curie. Same kind of thing. I mean, it's almost exactly the same kind of robot, although her personality is very different. And neither of these are synths either. So we can't even have the debate of are synths people. These are robots, people. This is a one step removed from that. And Curie is interesting because she has this innate need to do good. She's again a medical professional. We have these medical professionals on this list. She wants to do good. She wants to understand more about the world. She's curious about it. She ultimately wants to take on the body of a person. She lets go of her robot self and moves into a physical body, like a person's body. I mean, she has a physical body, but you understand what I'm saying? A person's body. And she acts in a lot of ways like she's more self-aware than a lot of the other robots that you come across. And she tries to do good for the wasteland, for other people, even though she herself is a robot, not a human being. Maybe there's a jump there that makes that an even greater good, doing good for creatures beyond just your own type. Maybe there's something there. Now, the last one I'm going to bring up here on this list, and speaking of creatures that aren't your own type, is dog meat. Dog meat, again, dogs, are they just biologically built to connect to humans and to be loyal and to be good? In some cases, probably yes. I think that we've steered their genetic predisposition towards that over centuries, millennia, probably even. But can you take that away from the character? Because dog meat he's there for you. He's always there for you. He's your best companion. You will never do something to get rid of dog meat. He's always going to be there for you, just like your own pets at home. Even when you accidentally step on their tails or whatever, they still love you. Like, at the end of the day, they're still there. But is that a choice or is that biology? I don't really know.